You really have to hear what this team encountered. I can promise you this much. If you ever walk the trails above the bluffs in southern Illinois, you will listen to the woods in a different way. On August 14th, 2019, at Garden of the Gods Wilderness in Shawnee National Forest, 3 members of our 5-person search team died. 1 missing hiker was unaccounted for, and the body we recovered had no injury pattern that matched any fall on that rock. The county report called it an accident before daylight. That report was wrong. At 5:42 a.m., we found a pair of boots set side by side on sandstone, upright, toes facing the drop, as if their owner had stepped out of them and kept walking into air. What comes next is the account. My name is Elias Turner. I was 39 that summer, a forestry technician with the United States Forest Service, with 14 years in Shawnee. I grew up in Harrod, learned the ridgelines before the roads, and knew those woods well enough that dark felt like a tool, not a warning. Nothing had ever frightened me. That changed at Garden of the Gods. The call came in as a routine assist after 2 hikers failed to return from the backcountry north of the observation trail. We had done that work before. We carried maps, radios, med kits, climbing line, and the steady habits that make you think preparation can hold against anything outdoors. Our team had 5 people. Dana Kessler was 51, district law enforcement officer, 22 years in the forest, exact with rules. Ana Ruiz was 33, wildlife biologist, 11 years in federal service, patient and steady. Tom Bledsoe was 46, county search volunteer, 19 years in rope rescue, dry in his speech. Mason Reed was 24, seasonal recreation technician, 8 months on the job, eager. I handled terrain and access. We entered a broken maze of oak, hickory, cedar, and stone. Beyond the public loop, the land folds into blind cuts, narrow saddles, and bluff shelves that hide a person 10 feet away. Sound rolls oddly there. A call can cross a canyon and die before it reaches the trees below. The nearest help with lights, radio relay, and an ambulance was 18 miles away. After dark, the forest pressed from every side. The cliffs let anything moving low vanish and return somewhere it should not have reached that fast. We found the first sign at 3:16 p.m. in a patch of damp soil between 2 shelves of stone. Prints came up the wash, clear enough for Tom to count tread blocks, then stopped in the middle of a stride. No turn, no slide, no heel drag over rock. 1 left print, 1 right print, then nothing. 20 yards away, Anna found a red windbreaker folded on a log. Not snagged, not dropped. Folded twice, zipper closed, sleeves tucked under. Dana said it had to be a prank. The woods around us had gone still by then. No cicadas, no squirrel chatter, no wing noise in the canopy. The silence came down so hard, it felt placed over us. At 4:02, Mason called on the radio and said he had visual on one of the missing hikers near a bluff cedar. His voice sounded thin, as if he had moved the handset away from his mouth. Dana told him to hold position. He said the hiker was Anna. Anna was standing 6 feet from me when he said it, where we answered at once. No reply. We moved toward his flagging tape and found his pack hanging from a branch at shoulder height. The buckles were fastened. His canteen was clipped to the side. On the ground below the pack were Mason's gloves, laid together palm up. Dinah ordered a sweep. Tom called Mason's name until his voice gave out. We found tracks from all of us in the leaf mold. We found Mason's trail ending near a scrape in the stone. We did not find the mark of anything carrying him away. At 11:17 that night, every radio on our line cut to static. My GPS screen went black. Anna's headlamp dimmed and recovered. Tom checked batteries with shaking fingers and said they were new at noon. From the dark below camp, we heard Mason say, clear as daylight, that he had found the hikers and needed Dana alone. Dana stood up before any of us answered. Not fast, not panicked. She rose with the blank patience of a person getting up to open a door at home. Anna caught her sleeve. Dana pulled free and walked toward the trees. Tom and I grabbed lanterns and went after her. We found her service pistol on the path first, then her hat, then a line in the dirt where her heels had dragged for 3 feet, as if she had tried to stop only after she was already leaving us. 50 yards farther on, the woods went silent again. We reached the bluff edge and saw her below on a ledge no wider than a porch step. There was no route down to where she lay. Her throat was unmarked, her ribs were unbroken, her eyes were open, and there was blood at one ear. When the medical examiner saw her 2 days later, he told me in private that her heart tissue showed damage he could not place with trauma, exposure, stroke, or lightning. He said it looked as if her body had been emptied from inside, while the outside remained mostly intact. The report listed a fall. We should have left by daylight. We did not. County Command wanted the second hiker, Mason, and Dana's body out before news crews heard scanner traffic. That is how people stay in bad ground. Duty first, explanation later. On the second day, we found the hiker we had been sent for. His name was Paul Granger, 28, from Marion. He was tucked beneath a shelf of stone with his knees drawn up, dead less than 12 hours. His clothes were damp, but his skin held none of the bruising you see after a body tumbles through bluff timber. His boots were missing. At 5:42 the next morning, we found them upright at the cliff where the county said he fell. Anna stopped making jokes after that. She took me aside and said something in the woods had tried her name twice during the night, once from downhill and once from the bluff top at the same time. Tom said he heard it. He counted our rounds and flares twice, as if numbers might keep the line fixed. The third night broke us. At 10:31 p.m., after moonrise, a pebble struck our cooler from the east. Tom went 2 steps that way, because small sounds make you look. From the west, in the black cedar, Anna called for help, not called, repeated. Same pitch, same breath, same 3 words. I turned with Dana's spotlight and caught only pieces. A shoulder too high for a man, an arm braced against stone where no body should have balanced, an eye shine lower than the ledge, then higher, as if it had crossed 12 feet of rock without climbing. It never gave me a full shape. Just height, reach, and a stride that covered ground in a way my mind still refuses to sort into steps. It had used the cooler to pull Tom off Anna. It had used Anna's voice to pull me off Tom. That was planning. That was appetite with patience. Tom lasted long enough to tell me not to answer anything that called from outside the light. He died with no cut on him, no broken neck, no mark beyond a thin line of blood under both nostrils. Anna died last. She was the one Mason trusted, the one Dana listened to, the one who kept our hands steady by speaking as if every task ended. We heard her running on the leaves behind us while we dragged Tom's body toward the service road. And then we heard her from the bluff above us, calling my name in a voice already too far away. When I looked up, she was standing at the edge with her face turned toward the dark beside her, as if someone taller had asked her to listen. She stepped forward once. She did not fall. She was there, and then she was not. I got out with Paul's map tube and Dana's field notebook because Tom pushed them into my hands before he dropped. I got out with one living witness besides myself, a deputy named Len Booker, who met us at first light and saw enough of the ledge below camp to refuse the county version in private, though not on paper. Years later, when people ask why I lived, the only clean answer is the one I hate. I survived because it let me. After the funerals, I started pulling records. I used ranger binders, county microfilm in Harrisburg, and old incident cards in Springfield, and a local history room with donated journals. The pattern was exact enough to make me sick. 11 disappearances, or found dead cases within 9 miles of the same bluff system between 1968 and 2019. In 7 of them, boots or coats were found placed neatly apart from the body. In 4, witnesses reported the woods going silent before contact. In 3, the cause of death listed on paper matched no injury described by the examiner. In every decade, one person reported hearing a known voice from the wrong direction. One journal entry was dated June 18, 1974. It belonged to a Forest Service employee named Garrett Vale. He wrote, "We found Mrs. Halpern's shoes arranged at the rim. Heard my brother calling from below, though my brother died in Korea." Wallace stepped toward the voice and went still as a sleepwalker. I struck him, and that is why he remained with me. That line mattered more than the rest. I struck him, and that is why he remained with me. I took that page to an elder from the Shawnee descended community in southern Illinois, whom Anna had met during a habitat consultation the year before. I am leaving the man's name out because he asked for that. He read the copy once and told me the old people knew of a taker along high stone places, a presence that called the living in borrowed voices and drew force from the answer. Older than any trail marker there. He said it did not hunt everyone. It chose the listening ones. He told me the rule was simple. When the woods go silent, do not answer what knows your name, unless you can see a human mouth making the sound. Garden of the Gods is still open to the public today. Families walk the observation trail, take pictures on the sandstone, eat lunch at the tables, and drive home with good light still in the trees. Most people who visit Shawnee leave with nothing worse than sore legs, dust on their shoes, and a phone full of clean views. But on warm nights after a dry week, when the cicadas cut off all at once and a voice comes to you from below a bluff that no one could have climbed in the dark, the old pattern begins again. The county files stay separated by year, by weather, by alcohol, by bad footing, by private shame. Nobody stacks them side by side. Nobody says the deaths match because the numbers are kept in different drawers. If you go there and you hear someone you love calling from the wrong place, do not answer. Do not step closer for a better look. Do not let your need to help outrun what your own body is trying to tell you. I survived because I did not answer it when it used Anna's voice. That is the part that keeps me awake at night.